Welcome to Comic Tool Reviews. This is a review of the Marvel Saga Volume 1 Essential Book. And basically this is a black and white series of about, right there, Marvel Saga 1 to 12. But these were like, the first few issues were like double sized. So it's misleading. You might think it's 12 issues, but the page count is a lot more. Basically what this series was in the 1980s, Marvel Comics tried to explain their history from the Golden Age and the 60s into one concise story. Basically it was a retcon, if you know what that is, retroactively fixing the continuity of the Marvel Saga, making it seem as if all the events were related and how they mixed together. Story-wise, like this happened and then this happened, issue by issue, and piecing it together as one saga. The only thing that you might notice is the history of Marvel Comics is always being rewritten, such as the Spider-Man Brand New Day and stuff like that. The whole history rewrites. So even though this is piecing together that history already has been rewritten, and stuff here isn't as relevant, I could say. But it's still, overall, it's just a nice book. I'll show you what they do. For example, right here, they'll take character Spider-Man. They'll show some panels from some actual pages. Then they'll put some text pieces of their own, and then issues and panels from other pages. And they jump from various books, and then they just put some text pieces linking it together. And doing it this way, they make it seem like a saga. So let's get right to it. This is the first issue. There's some new art usually in the covers and in the first opening page or so, like this for example. And then they show basically the stories and the characters of what happened. I just want to forward to the end of the first issue, which is like double size, like 48 pages. At the very end of the issue, they will show what issues were the main influences of that Saga issue. So Fantastic Four 1, Tales to Astonish 27, and Fantastic Four 2 were the main parts of issue 1. But even though a few books were the focus, they did take panels and art from other issues, and they spliced it all together. The official history of the Marvel Universe. Before they rewrote it and keep rewriting it, right? But in the 80s, the history from the 60s was really pretty concise, pretty up-to-date, where it was relevant. In comics nowadays, the continuity is very irrelevant. It's really like pick and choose. Back in the 80s, it was more strict that way, that you had to explain stuff, how it happened and all that. The downside is that it's a black and white book. These issues were originally in color. But the upside is you get so many issues, and at a price of $16.99. And you could probably find it on discounts at conventions. I mean, for that price, how could you go wrong, right? It's basically, as I said, this one is Doctor Doom. It's all different issues. For example, the second issue was Amazing Fantasy 15, Hulk 1, and Fantastic Four 3. And it's all spliced together. And that's what they're doing in this book. And again, double-sized first few issues. This issue right here, issue 3 was Fantastic Four 5, Fantastic Four 4, and Submariner 1. Those were the main focus. Then you get into the X-Men a little later on. Overall, it's a nice reading. It's going to take you a long time to read. And if you want a book that's going to really last a while to read, you can't go wrong with this volume. They have a second volume. I'm not sure if they have a third volume. They might already have it out. Didn't get the second volume yet, but I'll get that eventually. Hopefully it's coming in clear. See, here's a good example. They put a text piece here, some comic panels, another text piece, and then comic panels from another issue, and they're piecing it all together as this event happened first, and then this happened, etc. And they also use references from the 80s and the 70s, and they intermixed it with the 60s, and even stuff from before the 60s. And so they might use some panel from the 80s and then put it into the 60s issue here in terms of the saga and explaining it all, how it's related, stuff like that. There's a whole mix of creators from the classic Silver Age, the Golden Age, and even the more up to the 70s and 80s, the modern age, more or less. Or what was modern back then, right? But overall, it's a really good book. Really good essential volume. It's just some entertaining reading, and I think you will like checking this book out. So let me show you the cover again. There it is, the Marvel Saga, the official history of the Marvel Universe. Right there. If you see this at a convention or cheap online, I think it's worth checking out. It's worth getting. It'll take a long time to read. If you're a fan of the Marvel characters or want to know more about them and how they mixed it up and how they made it all relatable in terms of how one character started and then another character and what came first and what came later on, then this is a book to check out. So it's the Marvel Saga. This is Volume 1. It's part of the Essential line. Worth getting, so subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.